On today's World Insight, the 2025 Golden Panda International Cultural Forum brings together brilliant minds to seek common ground among different civilizations and forge a future through dialogue and cooperation. How is cinematic language breaking down barriers? How is technology reshaping narratives? And why do local stories have universal appeal? In today's special Dialogue of Icons, through the lens, Bridging Civilizations, Hussein Fahmy, President of the Cairo International Film Festival, Mao Weining, Director, Executive Producer, Chantal Rickards, OBE, British Television and Film Executive, former Chief Executive Officer of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts in Los Angeles, Yaqin Zhang, foreign member of the Chinese Academy of Engineering, Dean of the Institute for AI Industry Research, Tsinghua University, Ali Nuhu Muhammad, Managing Director of Nigerian Film Corporation, Liao Changyong, baritone, President of Shanghai Conservatory of Music, Jay Su, Fellow of American Academy of Arts and Sciences Director Emeritus of the Asian Art Museum of San Francisco.
Your career started decades ago when everybody was still watching the black and white movies. Wow. But now, over the decades, it's not only movie that attracts your attention, but even more importantly, how to revitalize and celebrate cultures of Egypt into your career, into your works. Tell us about that.
The experience that I went through was amazing, of a young child at the age of 8 who has fallen in love with the cinema, has fallen in love with film, has fallen in love with the black and white movies. And ever since, I started asking, who is the man, who is the brain, who is the mind, who is behind this imagination? And I discovered it was the film director. So I decided I wanted to be a film director. At the age of 8, I studied movies. I wanted to go around theaters, finding this amazing world, this fascinating image, this fascinating world of actors and creators. And I studied movies because I love the black and white movies. I worked for it. I worked in different characters. I played in front of the camera. I received many awards as Best Actor Award. And through this, I learned a lot about myself because I was playing different characters, different parts, and every character has made me learn something about my character, about my personality. And this is what have made me now restoring old Egyptian black and white movies as a return, as a reward to all these creators who have made these great movies.
What about for you, Chantal? You are such an acclaimed TV producer. You have been well known in the world for bringing the biggest reality shows to the international markets. So how do you see the cultural exchanges as a result of that? How do you understand audience from all over the world?
I want to share with you memories of my time on the first series of the BBC television series MasterChef, the world's most popular food television program, which is seen in 200 countries around the world. And also my recollections of having been the commissioner of the Food Network in the United Kingdom. In the late 1980s and 1990s, British audiences were looking for fresher culinary ideas, brought to them in a more entertaining way. The simple domestic science shows we'd had from the 1960s that focused on English food were no longer popular. Food was now becoming part of lifestyle and entertainment programming. What I most loved was what food could tell you about different cultures. Through the prism of food, we can share in a country's history, its geography, its economy, its identity, and its deeper culture and customs. We can understand each other so much better through our shared love of food and understanding of food. What I still love about MasterChef's continuing success nearly 35 years later is what it tells you about people, the story of their lives, their tastes in the kitchen and in life, and how people blend ideas and inspiration from cuisines and cultures from elsewhere. Although Chinese food is the most popular takeaway food in the United Kingdom, In the modern British home, we now mix the best flavours from all over the world, and that is truly harmony in diversity. When we talk about building bridges of civilization through the medium of the screen, it doesn't always require great narrative, dramatic pieces to make a point. Inspiring people through food programming creates a cultural warmth and understanding, as good as a shared plate of Lancashire hot pot or a Sichuan hot pot from Jinli Street. And the experience of sharing food with others is, for me, sharing life itself. What could be better?
To you, Mr. Mao, 毛导演您好，非常高兴在这
So
见
happy
到
to see
您。
you, and after 20 years, we know quite well your works is the Dawns are here are quiet, and it is actually a recreation based on the foreign literature, and would like to hear from you, and why after 20 years are you still focusing the shared topic of human beings, the war and peace? So what are your considerations, and what have you learned from that?
学到了什么？有请。
Greetings. I'm Mao Weining. I'm a Chinese director. Today, I would like to share with you two of my works, both deeply connected to the commemoration of the anti-fascist war. The, for example, TV drama, The Dawns Are Here, Quiet, shot for the 60th anniversary, and Our Homeland for the 80th anniversary. The predecessor was adaptation of the classic Soviet novel by Boris Vasuyev about 5 female soldiers fighting bravely in swamp and forest against German invaders and ultimately laying down their lives. The opening scene I crafted for our show started with the author at home recording the stories of the main protagonist. During the break from shooting, he told me something remarkable. Only 3 out of 100 Soviet men born between 1920 and 1925 were still alive in 1955. When the war ended, 97 perished. And Our Homeland, in contrast, draws on the history of resistance in China's Yimeng mountain area of Shandong. Through in the history, war, and everyday life, we hope to review how our party rallied the people and, with their support, secured the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression.
唱歌的老太太是沂蒙当地的农民。
Granny is 80 years old, from the Yimeng mountainous area, and she told me that it is important to sing this because without our victory, she wouldn't be here today. So both works strive to sense the raw power of the battlefield, to touch upon and reveal emotions, convictions, and heavy sacrifices of the human heart. This is how I pay tribute to that era. So my story is to help audiences believe, feel, and empathize. That's my essence of storytelling. I champion the Chinese creators who carry their narrative soul onto the global stage.
So, Chantal, I want to ask you a question. Since you are the only lady sitting among the crowd, so lady first. We have seen over the past few years, some of the Chinese film and television productions really went globally. For example, Ne Zha 2 has become the highest grossing single market and also the highest grossing in terms of animated films globally. So what to you as a very seasoned producer that got the messages crossed through Chinese culture to the global audience?
Ne Zha has been a phenomenon around the world. It's a fantastic film, Ne Zha 2. I think it was made for $80 million and has already grossed $2 billion. It's been a fantastic success for China. I think part of that is that the quality of production has greatly increased in recent years. I think the ability to tell stories that relate to other countries and other civilizations around the world has given rise to Chinese writers and Chinese filmmakers looking outside the boundaries of China and making sure that they're telling stories that have universal truths, that tell the stories of love and life, evil and hope, the great emotions. And I think all of those actually come through in Ne Zha and in many of the great dramas that have been very popular around the world. Minning Town, that we celebrated here 2 years ago, has been a great international success. But it's found audiences because those stories have resonated with other people.
The stories, but also the special effects, some would say. Yaqin, you are a leading expert, both in China and the United States, on artificial intelligence. How much do you see technology can really bring the artwork to another level? How to make sure it's not going to be a conflict, but rather a harmony for one another?
Well, for all these years, in the last 3 decades, digital technology, computer technology has always been a friendly and a valuable tool to the content creation industry, particularly movie. From digital assets, virtual reality, special effects, animation. So it's been around for quite some time. But the emergence of AI, this wave of new AI, is very different. It's very different in 3 ways. First, it's generative, meaning it actually is probabilistic. It actually generates contents that you don't design or plan. The second dimension difference is it's agentic, meaning it actually does this autonomously and actually learns, adapts, and iterates and improves over the time. And the third, of course, is super realistic. And we look at the AI created contents. Right now, it still have some issues, including the very compelling one we had in the beginning of the ceremony. Right? That one is very compelling, but you see, it is AI, has an AI mark. In 3 to 5 years, AI is going to create full-length movie in a way that is as good as human creation, other tools. Having said that, right, it is obviously going to change our industry in a very profound way. There are things it's not going to replace. It is the deep level human emotion, the emotional attachment and the resonance, that empathy. My final word message is embrace AI. AI is a powerful technology, right? And it can empower you. It will not overpower you, but be open-minded and use it, adapt it, and leverage it.
And go to you, Chang Yong.
I know that recently in Italy, and you have been introducing a lot of Chinese artistic songs in Italy. So I want to ask you, in the music field, how an artistic language can really transcend the borders. Music has no border. Music plus literature can be a good combination. So because in Chinese words, we say that poets and poetry and songs are really close together. So when I was young, I loved poetry. During my high school and my primary school, I was asked to recite a lot of Chinese ancient poems and poetries. And sometime later, I tried to create music based on them. So in the beginning, it was difficult, but when I really combine them together, it is really fast when I try to recite and memorize those poetries. And I believe this is the foundation of my music career. And now, when I started to have international competitions in music and also to attend concerts internationally, we sang a lot of songs from Germany, from Italy, from many other cultures. So I was thinking, as Chinese people, why shouldn't we share Chinese music with others? So more and more often, in more occasions in other countries, we have been trying to share Chinese music. And recently in Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Italy, and so many other countries, and Finland. So I have been trying to introduce a lot of works combined with poems, poetries, and music, and which were also very popular among the locals. And in 2018, we started an international competition of Chinese songs. And also, we have done another research project of the ancient Chinese music over the past 100 years, and what we have achieved over the past 100 years. And our first artistic song based on Chinese culture is based on the poems of Dajiang Dongqu by Su Dongpo in the Song Dynasty and created in Germany. So when it mentions to the poems of Su Dongpo, maybe they do not understand them pretty well. But if you can really give us a little part of this thing, maybe we can have better experience. So since we have such a rare opportunity to have the artist with me, so can we just hear a part of this music? Yes, so this is poems was when Su Dongpo was demoted to Huangzhou as a punishment for his wrongdoing. So he felt lost and he created this poem.
大江东去，浪滔滔，千古风流人物。无泪惜别人道是，三国周郎赤壁。
Thank you.
This is marvelous. Thank you.
You might think you are better informed in an information age. The fact is, people are more often misled by misinformation. You might think every voice is heard in a digital world. The fact is, many nations and peoples are still underrepresented. And data poverty shuts out many. We at CGTN are committed to transcending the information gap and the digital divide. CGTN, bridging nations and civilizations. CGTN, see the difference.
Jay, let me ask you. I mean, you've been running exhibitions all over the world to promote culture from the Orient, of course, coming from China as well. But for the audience in North America, through different generations, what is the best way to get across those messages?
During my directorship in the Asian Museum San Francisco, we organized a magnificent exhibition of China's Han Dynasty. And from the marvelous objects, including the show, there are 3 inscriptions. One in Chinese called 长生无极, everlasting life without end. The other is 长物相忘, which means beauty, let's not forget each other, forget me not, right? And the third, 长乐未央, everlasting happiness without end. These kind of messages are shared across all the globe, no matter who you are, where you are.
I wish I were there to watch all of these exhibitions you just mentioned. I hope they are going to travel around the world.
Yes, one thing that I'm very proud to say that, not at San Francisco, in my previous career in Seattle Art Museum, we organized the largest, most scholarly, but also most popular exhibition of Sanxing Three Civilizations. And that is not only the art exhibition, but a wonderful form of cultural diplomacy.
Ali, I understand that you have a nickname. Let me pronounce it right. The King of Kennywood. So obviously it means Hollywood in your country, in Nigeria and beyond. You're well known in putting the Northern Nigeria flavor into the movies. How do you try to do that in a country that is also so diverse on itself? And what does it mean to you coming here and see your colleagues from China all over the world? Please.
I'll say that this is one of the reasons why we're trying to do these cultural exchanges so we can sign audiovisual MOUs, get to do co-productions together, because in so doing, we're going to have this mutual relationship where, for instance, China brings the technology, we have the culture, they get to understand our culture, and our crew members, our actors get to learn, the etiquettes of the filmmaking and what have you. So these exchanges are mainly one of the reasons why we're here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now moving on from Nigerian part of Africa to Egypt. Mr. Fahmi, for Arab culture, it is how to transcend borders. There are very unique features. So how to make sure your audience from different parts of the world will be able to be interested, first of all, and understand the delicate languages you use in your work. Very briefly from you, sir.
Very briefly, I would like to say that cinema actually is the emotions and the feelings of the human beings. It's the element that you can feel instead of reading. So the language is not really that important. The language of the image is that important. The language of the feelings and the emotions that are being transmitted from the screen to the audience. I can be in China and watch a Chinese movie without learning the language, but I can feel the feelings that are transmitted to me from the screen. I can have tears in my eyes, I can laugh, I can smile. These are the real human emotions that motion picture is mainly all about. And the industry in Egypt has started in 1920, so it started very early in the game. We were able to transmit our culture, the locations, the people, the feelings to our neighbors. In Africa, like my friend is here from Africa, and the Middle East and all the Arab states, they were able to understand the language of the image of the places. If you screen a movie in any Arab state, they would tell you this is the bridge in that name, and they would tell you this is the location, and the feelings that are being transmitted from the people themselves. This is cinema to me.
And it is the nature of cinema, isn't it, for everyone? And to Mr. Mao also, 您是来自于中国的导演，但是我知道呢，您
And you're from a director from China, as just mentioned. Together with many international friends and colleagues, you have partnerships and cooperation with them. So in many of the episodes of yours, many are international actors and international production team. So what are the experiences of cross-cultural communication, and how can we express the language of cross-culture here? So I would like to only mention one detail. You just mentioned that in a cross-cultural communication, everyone's expression is different. Sometimes when we express in a contrary way, but we mean the same. Like, for example, when we are opening the show, the Chinese way is to pray to the universe. But in Russia, they do it in a contrary way. They would write the names in the plate, and they would smash the plate. So be it the Chinese way or the Russian way, it's their way of expressing their wishes. And I have brought with me actually the fragment today. This was from 20 years ago when we started. Although it is broken, but in my heart it's complete. So I believe this is the magic of cross-cultural communication, and they have different ways of communication, but they mean the same.
内核是一样的。谢谢。其实不仅是大家之间的合作。
So not only our cooperation as the model, but also the cooperation on the content, be it peace and war, at different times in different countries, we have different artistic works that reflect the theme of peace and war. We have the same original aspirations, but we have different ways of expressions, like the Awakening Age and 1923 in the United States. And we'd like to also invite you to share with us. So I was the jury member of the first Golden Panda Awards, and there were two works, The Awakening Age from the China and 1923 from the United States, winning the grand awards. These two directors chose to shoot the stories of their own respective country 100 years ago. So there was actually this real mutual learning and exchanges of the two civilizations from the East and West. So be it any country or culture, we can use our own way to express our own culture in a way that could be understood by people from other countries. We need, of course, lively people. We need the local culture that are told in the films. So you're all the leaders in your industry, and also from the spectators. We have also friends participating in this year's Golden Panda Awards. There are the young people. They have just started their career. So my question for you is, any suggestions for the youngcomers on the right way to express transboundary stories and language?
You can set a great example. Can you do it in 3 sentences?
Teamwork, collaboration, perseverance, a sense of humor, and put everything in context. And I think if you do all of those and you work incredibly hard in something you are utterly passionate about, you will succeed.
For the young people, perseverance is important. I've been doing this for decades. We need perseverance and experience, in a sector.
Affection, harmony at work, emotions and feelings.
Indeed.
So, Yaqing, you teach students at Tsinghua University. Anything to share?
Embrace the technology. And technology is empowerment and enablement. It's not overempowerment or replacement.
Okay. Ali?
As you take advantage of technology, be very original in whatever you do.
Sincerity is most important. Thank you for using the word of sincerity. I believe that.
Jay?
I have one word and 3 phrases. One word is connection. 3 phrases: connecting art of the past with the art of today. The second, connecting art and technology. Third, connecting art to life. If you can get to people's life, get to their heart, you'll be successful.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you. I would like to thank the 7 experts for your sharing.
Thank you so much for your wonderful input. And please be seated.